You have likely seen Panjurli's fearsome power in the movie Kantara, a boar spirit, a god, screaming with primal fury, dispensing divine justice in the firelight. It's an unforgettable symbol of raw, untamed nature. But the people of the Tulu speaking region of coastal Karnataka have been worshipping Panjurli for centuries. But who is Panjurli? Namaste and welcome to Chaturya the First State. I am your host K. Hare Kumar, best-selling author of 9 books including Daiva, which explores the fascinating and extraordinary world of spirit worship of Tulu Nadu. Before we begin, please subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell icon so that you get all the notifications because your support encourages me to make more meaningful content. Panjurli is a totemistic deity represented by the untamed wild boar. The term Panji means boar in Tulu language. The other half of the word could be Kurli, which means an offspring. Thus, Panjurli may be defined as the offspring or a child of the wild boar. Now, Daiva Aradhana is believed to be a primitive form of worship, and Panjurli's worship is an age-old tradition whose origin is now shrouded in mystery. The historical proof of its antiquity is manifested in the absence of its genesis story, a tale now lost to time. However, AC Burnell, in his Indian Antiquary, has left a couple of versions which he had noted from Tulu Paardhanas from his time. We will talk about one of them in this video. According to this Paaddana, our story begins not in the dark forests of earth, but in the ethereal beauty of a divine garden, a celestial abode, the home of Shiva and Parvati. Here, flowers bloomed with the fragrance of creation itself. It was a place of perfect harmony. But one day, that harmony was broken. According to the Paaddana, a family of wild boars wandered into the sacred grove. In their wild ignorance, they foraged and uprooted the divine plants, leaving chaos in their wake. When Shiva discovered the desecration of the garden, his anger was swift. He got so furious that he called his attendants, the gunners, who then killed the adult boars. Yet, amidst all this, a single small creature, a little boar, remained. Now, it was an orphan, trembling and alone. It was then that Parvati saw the terrified young boar. Parvati's heart beats with compassion for all living things. She was moved. She pleaded with Shiva not to punish the innocent little boar for the actions of its parents. Seeing the love in her eyes, Shiva relented. Parvati adopted the little boar, taking it under her divine care as if it were her own child. But nature, even in the presence of gods, cannot be denied its truth. As it matured, the boar's tusks started growing longer and sharper. An ancient, powerful instinct began to stir, and the boar found it challenging to restrain its wild and destructive habits. It frequently ravaged and destroyed their garden. And one day, Shiva was so angry that he could not any longer contain his fury. In his rage, Shiva declared that the little boar must be destroyed. His decision was absolute. But as he moved to enact his will, Parvati stood between the god and the boar. She, who had poured her love into this little boar, refused to let it be annihilated. Parvati argued that the boar hadn't acted out of evil intentions, but from its own innate nature. It was just a boar, and it had only done what a boar does. How could it be punished for being true to itself, to its nature? The fate of the boar and its entire future hung in the balance of this divine confrontation. Shiva was moved by Parvati's powerful plea. He stopped. He stayed his hand. He would not kill the boar. His anger cooled. Shiva recognized the truth in Parvati's words. The boar's nature wasn't evil, but it was incompatible with their abode. So he passed his sentence. The boar will be banished from their abode and cast down to earth. But this was not a punishment. This exile came with a new sacred purpose for the boar. Shiva, in his wisdom, transformed the boar's destructive potential into a protective duty. He decreed that on earth, this spirit would become a Daiva, a divine spirit, a guardian for the people of the land. Its role would be to protect the very fields and forests it was once driven to destroy, ensuring the balance between the wild and the cultivated. This was the moment the wild boar spirit was reborn as the god Panjurli, sent to earth to receive worship in exchange for his protection. Upon arriving on earth, Panjurli's legend took root in the fertile soil of Tulu Nadu, the coastal region of Karnataka. Now, the anthropological view of the scholars is that for early farming communities, the wild boar was a real and constant threat, capable of destroying a farmer's livelihood overnight. So the worship of a boar deity likely grew from this very real conflict, a threat as the farmers sought to appease the boar's powerful spirit and turn its destructive force into a protective one. This is the anthropological viewpoint, of course. And over centuries, the boar spirit, Panjurli, evolved into one of the most revered guardian deities or Daivas in the region. He is seen primarily as a protector of crops, as a bringer of justice, and looking after the welfare of the community. Panjurli's story of being exiled for destruction but given a new purpose of protection resonated deeply. It represents the delicate balance the Tulu culture seeks between humanity and the untamed nature. And Panjurli isn't just a god separate from nature, he is the spirit of nature, given a divine mandate. He is worshipped in many forms, reflecting local history such as Annappa Panjurli. In all his forms, his core identity remains a powerful, just, and sometimes fierce guardian who upholds the order of the land. I've written about Panjurli and the other deities in my book Daiva, published by HarperCollins in 2024. It is a humble introduction to the world of Tulu Nadu spirit deities. If you wish to know more about them, please read the book. I have provided the link in the description. Our ancient narratives and regional folklore are filled with legends like this, where even destruction leads to creation. What's another creation story that you find fascinating? Let me know in the comments below. To make sure that you don't miss out our next journey into the heart of the folklore of India, be sure to subscribe and ring that notification bell for more adventures.